Hello, 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 sellers. It's Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We are going to discuss the topic of how you, as an eBay seller, can get sales even when there's less buyers. And there are less buyers. eBay has said so, and that's what I wanted to go over with you because it's not necessarily like, oh, my sales are going to go down because they don't need to go down. And I'm going to give you tips on how to keep your sales strong and actually ways to increase your sales. Yes, you can. You can increase your sales despite the fact that there are less buyers on eBay than there were a year ago. So come on in, because it's so important is how do I keep my sales strong even when the traffic to the site may be less than what it was a year ago. So if you feel like you're getting less traffic than you did a year ago or 6 months ago, it's true. And eBay talked about it in their recent second quarter earnings report. And if you're unfamiliar with earnings reports, all publicly held companies do them quarterly. Okay. So Facebook does one. Amazon does one. eBay does one. I mean, this is this is what you do because you need to report to the public sort of the state of your company, what the earnings are, if you're paying a dividend on stocks, yada, yada, yada. And in them, they're wonderful to go through. I've gone through them now for a couple of years because it gives you clues about what the emphasis that eBay and other companies like Facebook are making because it can impact you as a seller. And so I'm going to go over some of what eBay talked about in their second quarter earnings report because it's helpful for sellers. Okay. So let me do that and I will, and you can search this on the internet. I mean, there are various places that talked about it. I just grabbed this one. This is not eBay's official public facing document. You can definitely look at that. It's put out by eBay Newsroom. I wanted to do NASDAQ. I wanted to do their take on the eBay earnings reports rather than eBay's take on their earnings reports. And I'm going to read some of this with you. So this just came out August 4th, 2022. And it says eBay reported second quarter 2022 earnings, yada, yada, of shares. Net revenue, I'm going to scan down. Net revenue of $2.42 billion surpassed the Zacks consensus estimate, boy, say that one fast, of $2.37 billion. So the good news is their revenues were higher than what was estimated. Okay, so that's good. It's like, yay. So eBay, corporate eBay, made more money in its net revenue, that means after expenses, than was anticipated. So that's good because there's been companies that have not done that well. So back to eBay, the company witnessed, and this is where you got to wake up, a company witnessed a year-over-year decline of 12% in the active buyer base, which stood at 138 million at the end of second quarter. eBay witnessed declining gross merchandise volume. That's all the things that are sold on eBay in the second quarter, which remained an overhang. Weakening momentum in online shopping as a result of normalization to pre-pandemic levels remained a major headwind. Nevertheless, strengthening momentum across advertising offerings of the company was a tailwind, which means, okay, less shoppers, less gross merchandise volume, less things being sold on eBay. Because remember, this is eBay's reporting of their earnings. And then they say, notably, eBay promoted listings generated revenues of $232 million, which was up 2% on reported. Okay. So what does all of this mean to us as sellers? So what it means is there are less buyers on eBay. However, eBay stayed strong as a company primarily or a good part because of monies they're making off promoted listings, right? No surprise to sellers. And then they go on to discuss eBay's working on attracting more affluent shoppers. That's the emphasis on sneakers, collectible trading cards, refurbished appliances, and now they're doing, luxury handbags and things like that. So you may look at that and go, well, I don't sell sneakers. I don't sell trading cards. I don't sell luxury handbags. How does this impact me as a seller? Well, the interesting thing is, and this is from eBay's recent seller event, they call it the fall seller check-in that was online, because I know a lot of you sell clothing, is that they mentioned in the seller event is that fashion is a very strong category on eBay. In fact, when I research sneakers, which I keep an eye on, one of the things that sneaker buyers buy when they come onto eBay is clothing. So eBay, in attracting these more affluent shoppers that are buying the high-end sneakers, one of the things they shop for is clothing. And that's good news for most sellers on eBay. Another thing they shop for, if you're not aware of this, is electronics. So that's a very hot category. So you go, okay, there's less shoppers on eBay. eBay's staying, they're doing well because of what they're charging on promoted listings. They're very much focusing on bringing these more affluents. They're calling them enthusiastic buyers that are in sneakers, trading cards, the refurbished appliances, also the luxury goods. So if you're in high-end categories, that absolutely should help you. So definitely keep an eye out on that, depending on where you're sourcing. So whether you're sourcing in thrift, whether you're sourcing retail, definitely keep an eye out for more middle line or sort of above middle line products, because these are the shoppers that eBay is working really hard to bring on. Okay. For sellers that are selling more moderate priced items, it's good news for you too, because if you follow what's going on with the economy right now, and Forrester talked about this at the recent fall seller check-in, is that shopping is staying strong. And this is what's very interesting. So even with gas prices up and the prices of everything up, shopping is staying strong and online shopping is staying strong. And if you can't tell from my background, I'm in New York City. And I think part of it is for people like California, I'm also thinking of like Texas, when gas prices are up, it's more expensive to go shopping. As much as people are enjoying in-person shopping and not doing everything online, when the gas prices start to really spike up, even though they are down a little bit right now, it's just so much easier to go online. It's like, why jump in the car and why use up the gasoline when I can just go online and shop? So realize that will drive online shopping. And that's going to be in all price categories. That'll be in luxury as well as more middle line and cost conscious. And definitely for cost conscious people, again, because of the gas prices, because of inflation, where are they going to come shop? They're going to come to eBay. I don't know about you. I read my feedback. And when I read my feedback, so I sell a lot of clothing, middle of the line to like slightly above middle of the line. And then I sell a big variety of health and beauty, but I'm a variety seller like a lot of you. And I'm getting a lot of comments lately. Take a look at your feedback. Great value, appreciate the fast shipping, good buy. I looked around other places and bought from you. Is that shoppers really value getting a good price, okay? So always when you're listing, take a look. And it's not even like that you have to go way, way, way under everybody else. But if you're selling something like, a tie-dye t-shirt, where they may not be your brand, but there's other styles like that on eBay, it's always good to sort of double check and sort of see what they're going for. And then also just spot check other places on the web that might be selling, tie-dye t-shirts too. Take a look at Amazon, take a look at Poshmark, because you do want to price competitively. The other thing, even though there's less shoppers on eBay, but as Forrester pointed out, it's still, shopping is very strong. Because people are just shopping, which is interesting. I don't know if it's stress release. I don't know if it's because they don't want to jump in their car, but there's less buyers on eBay than there was like a year ago because people are out and about more and they are in brick and mortar. So it's not going to be like everything online. But for the items that you sell online, always double check. You always want to take a look at what other people are doing on eBay. But don't neglect looking at other websites. If you're selling vintage, definitely hop over to Etsy, right? If you're selling more hip stuff, you're going to want to take a look at Depop and you're going to want to take a look at Poshmark. More sort of middle of the line stuff, you're going to want to take a look at Amazon, and you're going to want to take a look at eBay and make sure you're priced competitively. The other thing you're going to want to do is really take a look at your keywords. And keywords are the terms that you're using to describe your item. One key area for your keywords is your title. And particularly if you're selling on some other sites, like I was on a site and a lot of people were using the condition of the item, new with tags, that kind of thing, in the front of their title, leading. And that's really not a great idea for eBay. For eBay, you really want to lead with the pertinent terms for the item. So again, if it's a tie-dye t-shirt, I want to lead with, women's t-shirt tie-dye, or tie-dye t-shirt women's. Okay, you want the more important information up at the front. The only time you might consider doing condition, I was thinking, is on very unique collectibles. Okay, so let's say it's a very unique doll, or I actually had one, not so much a unique collectible. It was a Westclox clock. It was made in USA. It was still in the original box and wrap, and it had the Woolworths store sticker on it, right? So vintage, original box, original wrap, Woolworths sticker, right, with the price, which I think was like $4.99, something like that. Now, with something like that, I didn't. I put, the fact that it was in the original box towards the end of the title. But because that is so unusual, because it's a vintage item still in the original box, with something like that, you could consider putting the box, new in box, in original box towards the front. But typically you want to lead with brand, you want to lead with color, you want to lead with the most important thing, which is typically brand, and typically whether it's unisex, men's, women's. If it's a period item, so it's a collectible, it might be Edwardian, it might be 1950s, it might be 1960s, then you're going to want to lead with that. You're not going to want to lead with new with tags, new in original box. Again, unless it's highly unusual, it's really sought after. It's very rare to find this item. I'm thinking of like some collectible animation figures. Definitely stuff from like the 50s and 60s. If it's an original wrap, you might consider putting it towards the front. But typically you want to lead with the most important keywords. And the reason for this is eBay ranks the keywords. So that's why it's looking towards the front for the most important information. And if you're not aware of this, Google search works the same way. So that's why you're front loading your listings and then putting slightly, the less important stuff. So for instance, like with the shirt, I would lead with the brand. I'm trying to think what brand, let's say it's Under Armour, or it's Nike, or it's the period Edwardian. So you're leading with the brand, the period, then what it is, women's t-shirt, tie-dye, or I might do women's tie-dye t-shirt because tie-dye is very popular. Then I might put the neckline V-neck. I might put that it's short sleeve shirt, right? Because there's people that search by the sleeve. Some people, they don't want sleeveless. Other people, they want the sleeveless. Other people want short sleeve. Other people don't want short sleeve. They want 3/4 sleeve. So sleeve length is important to people. Neckline is important to people. When you're looking at collectibles, the size, is it 3 inch? Is it 6 inch? Is it 8 ounces? Is it 12 ounces? Matters to people. But you want to lead with your most important keywords. Why? Because the buyer volume is down. So less buyers, and there's also less inventory. So that's nice, a little less competition. But I want my things to sell. And even when things are super, super unique, there's also other super, super unique items out there too. And people are going to be looking at, do I want this or do I want this? Okay. Unless it's so unusual, they've been looking for it all over and you've got the one, and then yay, you're going to get that sale. Is that you stand out against your competition, and that you stand out against the competition, not just on eBay, but on the other sites. And the way you do that is with really good keyword selection and your keyword order. And your title is important just because it's one of the first things people see. They see that first image and they see your title in the eBay listing frame. I've got a guide for you. It is on a flash sale. It's Keyword Domination to Explode Your eBay Sales. It's super, super popular. And I've got it on a sale. It's half off for a short time only. If you hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, you can grab it. Okay, that Keyword Domination to Explode eBay Sales. Grab it. I go into what are keywords, why are they important on eBay, how to select them, choices to make in putting together your listings that can really help your listings accelerate and stand out against the competition. So less buyers, a little less volume, but still what the whole thing with eBay is creating a listing that when your buyer is searching for your item, they can find it, and that your item stands out against the competition on eBay and on other sites. So I've got it on a flash sale. It's half off for a few days only, so grab it while it's on sale. And a portion of the proceeds go to my friend Lori Ann Wong's food pantry in Atlanta, Georgia, to help folks that need some help there. Okay, so grab it, and your keywords matter. They will keep your listing strong in eBay search and search on the internet. They will help your items to be found by the right buyer when they're looking for your item, and help your items to get sold for better prices and quicker. So grab Keyword Domination to Explode eBay Sales while it's on flash sale. Okay, great. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling.